Hi everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to be doing France as our third bucket list with an artistic twist series. But as you can see, I don't just have some colored pencils over here, and that's because I plan to create more of a 3D interactive style. And one of the ideas that I have is to create a 3D pop-up triangle right here, and that's going to represent our Louvre Museum. So let's get started with that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my little ruler here and just trace out the basic shape of the pyramid. And for those of you who may not know a whole lot about the Louvre Museum, also I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Anyways, it is in Paris, France, and it's where the Mona Lisa is located. It also has this amazing large glass and metal pyramid at the entrance. So I'm going to try my best to recreate that. And my plan is to cut out each individual diamond shape, and then I'm going to repurpose this little plastic sheet here by gluing it to the back of this pyramid, and then that's going to give me the glass effect that I'm looking for. All right, and this is actually a very long, tedious process, so I am just going to fast forward it for you. All right, and there we go. I have it all glued down to my plastic sheet, and now I'm just going to go in with my CG9 Cool Gray alcohol marker as the metal frame. And now I'm just going in and I'm going to trim off the excess plastic, and I'm going to use my little paper cutter right here. And as I was doing this, the absolute worst thing that could happen ended up happening, and it ripped the paper, and I was just so upset about it because I just couldn't imagine having to redo all of this. So yeah, as you can see, I had a little frustration moment right there. But I ended up being able to salvage it and just gluing it together and trying to touch it back up with my alcohol marker, and it ended up being fine, thankfully. All right, and now I'm just going to fold the edges because that's where the glue will go, but I'm gonna wait to glue it in until I'm done with the book. That way I don't accidentally bump it and ruin it, but here's an idea of what it'll look like. All right, so this next piece right here was inspired by typing in France into the search bar of my Pinterest, and I kept seeing these cute little bikes with baskets on them, and I just thought that would be perfect to create a bike with a front and back basket. That way I could fill them with little things like flowers and a couple other things, but you will have to stick around and wait to see what I put in them. So I was actually really struggling with this lamp post, and I don't even know why. I mean, it's funny because the things that you think would be really simple to draw sometimes end up being a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I just felt like I couldn't get the height right, and then the shape of the light itself, I felt like just kept looking really weird. But after a while, I kind of just gave up on it and stuck with this here. And then I end up going over it with my eraser because I always tend to press a lot harder than I intend to, and now I'm just gonna go over it with my colored pencils. Also, I didn't want super harsh outlines, so I end up going over everything with the same color, but I just press a little bit harder to get the effect that I'm looking for. All right, and I'm gonna go in with my watercolors to create the ground and to add some bushes in the background. And I'm going to also use the pink shimmery colors to create roses in these bushes. And once they dry, I'll go in with a darker pink colored pencil to add a little bit more details. And now while I let this dry, I'm going to start working on our baskets. So I want these baskets to have that weave look. So I'm basically just going in and drawing a bunch of tiny little heart shapes, and I'm using a darker and a lighter pencil to give it the contrast I'm looking for. And now I'm just going to cut it out and see how close it matches where I need it to go. And it is a little bit big, but I'll trim that down in a second because first I want to fill in this inside part of the box so it matches. And now just to trim it up so it fits properly. And then I'm going to glue it in, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of touch-ups on those bushes where you can see some of the white parts. And now I'm going to get started on the next basket. So I actually decided, instead of making another basket for the back of the bike, that it would be more fun if I created a cute little crate. So that's what I'm going to do instead. All right, now I'm going to glue it down and go in with my color pencils to add the details to the roses. All right, and now I'm going to start working on the pieces that are going to go in the back of our crate. And the first pieces I thought I should make were a couple of baguettes. And now to cut them out and put it in our little crate. Here's a closer look for you. Look at that. I don't know what it is about creating miniature items, but I just think that it makes everything so much cuter. Anyways, our next item is going to be a bottle of wine. All right, and here is our little wine bottle. Now we can add it to the crate as well. There we go, and for the last piece to go into the crate, I'm going to do some grapes. There we go. So now I'm going to work on the flowers that I want to add it to the front of the basket. And France is known to have some really pretty lavender fields, so that's what I decided to go with. Now let's cut these out and add them to our basket. Yeah, there we go. Here's a closer look for you. I'm absolutely loving how it's looking so far, and now I just want to add a light blue sky to this. So for the next piece, I completely forgot to hit the record button, but luckily I noticed before I got too awfully far in this sketch. Anyways, I'm drawing a cute little balcony scene, and on the other side of that balcony, I'm going to be drawing the Eiffel Tower. And the plan for this one is to create 3D interactive French doors, so stick around to see how I do that. And now I'm going to take my eraser and lighten these lines up a bit and go in with my watercolor. So right here, you just see me redrawing another wine glass because sometimes when I am coloring with really sharp pencils and being as heavy-handed as I am, it causes this paper to rip. So that's something I have to be very careful about with this particular book. Also, I apologize for how much my head keeps getting in the shot. I feel like it's really hard not to try to draw or color like the really small pieces and not want your face like up close and personal so you can see better. But yeah, I try my best not to get it super close and to, edit out a lot of the headshots. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them all out without you missing majority of the process. But yeah, sorry about that. And again, I'm gonna go in with some watercolor, and I decided to go with red since the France flag is blue, white, and red, so I thought that would be perfect. And now I'm gonna start working on the French doors. So I have my paper here that I painted white, and now I'm just gonna add all my markings and get the door cut out. And I decided for the doors that it would be fun to create heart shapes, and I try to go with a swirl effect, but when it comes to using my craft knife to cut those out, yeah, it was just way too fine of a detail for me to be able to do that. So I just had to stick with a basic heart shape, but I still like the way that it turned out. Also, I am actually going to fast forward it for you as well, and here it is. Now I just have to get it glued onto this piece of plastic, so let's do that. All right, and now to get this one cut out really quick. And since I didn't learn my lesson, I am going to use my paper cutter again just to cut the middle evenly, and it worked out fine. But yeah, so this is how it's supposed to look. But I do feel like it's missing a little something, so I'm going to add some floral to it. All right, and now I'm just gonna go in with my 231 Seaweed Green alcohol marker to create some leafy arches. And this brand is just Twin Marker. It's a fairly cheap brand. Eventually I do need to invest in some better quality, but they work. And also I made that one a little too small, so I'm gonna try again. And then I'm also going to use my shimmery watercolors again to create the roses. And then once those are dry, I'll cut them out and add them to those arches. All right, and here I have them all cut out, and this is how I plan to put it together. But of course, before I do glue it down, I want to start working on the center of this book. So my plan is to write bonjour all the way down this, and at first I'm going to use my pencil, and then I will go over it with my fine liner. And there we have it. And I also wrote France at the top, and I'm just going to fill that in really quickly. Now to start working on the Louvre Museum. And I'm just gonna fill this spot in with a couple of shades of gray for the background. And it'll look like that. But before I glue it down, I need to add in our little paintings. And I have the Wedding at Cana, painted by Paolo Veronese. And we have the Virgin of the Rocks, and of course the Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Also, I apologize again if I'm not pronouncing their names exactly correct, but yeah, I did try. Anyways, now I'm just gonna get everything glued down. All right, there's that. Now to start putting our doors together. All right, now I just need to touch up the insides with some paint really quick. And for those of you who have watched my past videos, you know that I like to add a little pocket to each page, so I'm going to put it right here. And as I was looking for inspiration on Pinterest, I came across this cute little purse, and I just knew that that would be perfect as my pocket, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, and now that my purse is all cut out and I know it's going to function the way that I need it to, I'm just going in with my CG9 Cool Gray for the base of this purse. And once that dries, I'll go in with my 120 Black to create the lines. All right, and now that it's all cut out, I'm gonna do a little bit of touch-ups and add some highlights and sparkles, and then I can start assembling it. All right, and now that I have the purse all put together, I thought it would actually be really fun to create a little tube of lipstick to go inside of it as well. All right, and I am going to go in with 2 shades of red for the lipstick, and it's going to look really bad at first, but as it dries, I promise it'll look a lot better. All right, see, it's not nearly as bad as it looked on paper, and now I'm just going to tuck it into my little purse. All right, so we have our bike over here with our lavender flowers and some wine grapes and baguettes. And then we have our Louvre Museum with our different paintings in there. I'll try to get a close-up for you. I know it's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. And then we have our cute little black purse here with our tube of lipstick. And of course we have our French doors that open up to the Eiffel Tower. Anyways, thank you so much for allowing me to share my art with you, and if you've been enjoying this series, please share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it as well, as it really helps my channel, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really hope to see you next time.